Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Sri Muji Baba Ki Jai. Okay. I'm happy to answer questions if there are any. Acha, good, good. Go
Hello,
Shivoham.
Father.
Go Shivoham. Go.
Eh?
Go Shivoham. Go. Did I alter the mood of the question a bit?
Sorry?
Did I alter the mood of the question a bit?
um,
It's okay. It's okay, my dear. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, well, yes, I'll try to say what I want to say. Yeah, I feel my English is fading away.
Fine.
But yeah, I wanted to thank you first of all, and to thank that to thank the Sangha too, and yeah, for the support. And yeah, what I wanted to say is that well, in the last few days, it became clear again um, how easy it is to just to let go, no, to let go of the mind somehow, to let go of, and how easy it is just to stay and to watch. And what I want to expose now is that I keep I'm watching now the tendency to 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 go back to personhood, yeah, to identify, and to there is some strong pull to take what mind is saying again, no, as a truth, no? As something that it means something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to give it to you as much as I can. And and uh, and yeah, and to watch with you maybe now.
Very good. Very good. I feel that this is a good start. No, a good start to our conversations again. So, what happens is that I promise you that most of you are having this, let's call it condition, provisional condition, that using the pointings, you feel like the insight, the discovery of what is being pointed to, and along with that, the letting go of the positions of the mind, the proposals of the mind, the conditions of the mind can seem quite straightforward. You see? Now, the only condition or the strongest condition that seems to remain is, but why do I keep falling for the mind again when I know I'm not supposed to do that? You see? But I keep going back to it in spite of knowing that it's not really, doesn't lead to peace, doesn't lead to joy, doesn't lead to ease of being that I'm looking for, isn't it? So, in the same way that you did not resolve the rest of the mind, or when you find it easy to let go of the mind, you did not resolve it through intellectual conclusion, but through direct insight or through trust and devotion. In the same way, let this condition also dissolve in that, because this also is a condition which is still from the mind, as you are aware. You see, because only the mind speaks of time, really.
Mm.
You see, so although we may feel like I have a valid diagnosis as to my spiritual condition at this moment of time, If the proposer of that diagnosis is still Mr. Mind or Miss Mind, then it's still the same thing that it is complaining about. It is the very thing that it is complaining about. You see? Now, you may then say, then what is my true condition? You see? You may then say, then what is my true condition and what am I supposed to be working on now? Your true condition is that God takes birth within you see, and all doing and all happenings are within that consciousness, within that being. And that is always your true condition. You see? Now again, what will happen is for a while it'll seem easy. You're in satsang, so it'll seem easy to let go of the mind. You see? But then the mind will come back again with the old proposal saying, why can't it become permanent? You see? But again, remember that this proposal is also coming from that same perpetrator that you're trying to be free from.
Yeah.
You see? So, so uh, surrender or inquire. I know it sounds very basic, no? Because these are the two main things. You see? Surrender or inquire. In the moments that we are caught up in the mind, you see, what the mind is proposing, it seems very true, and it seems like we are living with that. There's nothing to be done anyway. You see, in the moment that you recognize that I'm getting caught up in the mind, you see, instead of saying, why do I still do this? When will this ever stop? You see, that because that is consuming the same stuff again. If you want to be free from the addiction, to eat more of it will definitely not free you from it. No? You see? So what have we been pointed to be free from the addiction? Either we inquire into the nature of the I that even wants to be free from the mind or wants to let go of the
Mm.
mind. Who is that one? You see? Or this seeming problem, we surrender it at the feet of whatever we feel devotion towards. You see, but asking why and when is not going to help. Anyway, maybe we spoke about this earlier, but it's worth repeating that the idea we have about what our life is like is just a very, very primitive scribble of what our life actually is like.
Mm.
You see? So, uh, so this primitive scribble is just a rough sketch, no? Just a rough sketch, and actually missing the most important parts. Do we ever write our story which says, at the center of all of this is a very astounding light, the light of my primordial being, which is the very existence itself. In its light, all these characters and this room and this world seems to come alive. You see? And when this light is not, all of the world dissolves, goes away. This very light is at the core of my presence, my being, and it is untouched by whatever the characters may be playing out. I am the light of this apparent universe. Do our stories start that way? And therefore, because they don't, therefore they are not a true story. Even if they were to start this way, actually, even then the truth cannot be captured. So once we say that that construct is valid, is true, you see, and then we try to resolve it, although it is not true, you see, although it is not true, then what happens? So trying to solve a non-existent problem, and that is what suffering is.
Yeah.
Because nowhere in the story, for example, did you tell me that such beautiful birds are chirping outside your window these days. You know what I mean?
No. I didn't
I
get.
said that, I said that nowhere in the story of mind and no mind did you tell me that such beautiful birds are chirping outside your window these days.
Yeah.
You see? So
The,
how
the,
come maybe that part of the narrative of your life is more relevant than what the mind does once in a while?
yeah.
So, and because we are not able to encapsulate the entirety of our being and what happens in it in our narrative, the mind picks out those things which it feels like has the most juice for individuality and to uh, problem fix and to do, you see, or to desire, all of those things. You see? So the instant we can put ourselves in a time frame, know that we are stepping away from the truth. We're not making an accurate description of what is, even what is manifest.
Yeah, I see that.
You see? Okay, now can we try to include the unmanifest in our story? Are we going too far too soon? Let's have the same, if you will humor me. If you could repeat your what your question was, but make the unmanifest the main character in the narrative. Now, is it audible again?
Yeah, there was a few seconds that I was like,
Okay. So can you try for just for fun, just to see what happens?
to say
The
again
same.
what,
Yeah. Yeah.
but from the point of view of of
Yes. The
nothingness,
unmanifest.
the
Yeah.
manifest.
Yeah.
uh, well, I would say uh, some perception. It's, is
Right.
of there is a voice here. Oh wow, what is saying? I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So the bundle of perceptions which appear, and this, of course, we are stretching because if we were to really speak from the perspective of the unmanifest reality, you see, then the minute we would start a story saying, "Oh, there are times when," it's not true because there is no time
yeah,
for the unmanifest. So I understand the struggle, but if you were to say, you could say, and that's what the sages and the teachers are pointing us to, saying that in all of the world of perceptions that seem to appear and disappear, I, in my ultimate reality, am not to be found. You see, I can look in every corner of this manifest universe, you see, and I can never be found objectively as a thing in that corner of the universe. You see, and yet somehow a bundle of perceptions, which we call the body, somehow gets to be central in my worldly narrative, and it seems like the apparent appearances or happenings for this one I claim to be mine, and the happenings and things for the seeming other similar perceptions I don't claim to be mine. And when I look for a good reason to do that, I can't find one. You see? Why separate the world between me and the world? Why separate the notion of oneness with the idea of me and another? You do not find a reason to, no? So, and you're right that because there is a voice which claims to be able to narrate the story of your life, doesn't make it a true story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a very limiting story. So suppose that as your life was happening in magnificent, immersive IMAX, the next technology of IMAX, whatever it is, magnificent, you see, and yet next to you is sitting a pesky neighbor, you see, who's narrating the whole movie in a very limited sort of way, you see. Just because he's doing it, does it make it true? You see?
No.
That's why I keep asking that, okay, there is a voice which is narrating this life for you. What else is there in your being? Is that it? Are you limited by hearing this mind? You see? At this point, I'm not even saying let go of your perception. You see? I am saying to you that even in the realm of your perception, the voice of limitations, the voice which is putting you down and making you suffer, is a very tiny set of perception. You see, but because consciousness has given meaning to it, has given truth value to it, that you accurately, validly represent my reality. That's why we are insistent on fixing it when it needs no fixing. That's why one of my favorite questions these days is, what are you not thinking right now? Just rely on that. Okay? Why this unfair reliance only on what you are thinking? Also rely on what you're not thinking. Those of you new to satsang, just ignore this nonsense, okay? Okay. And lastly, what is worth contemplating is, who are we fixing it for? Who do we want permanent resolution for? Is that itself permanent? Okay. If is an acquisition that we can make in material terms, I acquire this, you see, this is one type of acquisition. What is the other type of acquisition? Here. So I acquire some conceptual knowledge. No? I learned this is this, and that is that. A plus B equals to ABC, something we learn. You see? So that is the second type of acquisition. What is another type of acquisition? Isn't one. No? So the truth cannot be acquired in these two ways: experiential, material acquisition or conceptual acquisition cannot be acquired in these two ways. But the good news is, as we stop trying to acquire or grasp in these ways, the truth is apparent. And all of you have had at least a few moments of insight of this in satsang. You see? So all of this material and conceptual acquisition, will it survive our death? Possibly not. Possibly not. But you yourself, that is beyond phenomena, beyond being and not being, beyond existence and non-existence, death does not apply to that. And to discover that is to stop grasping for that which is not that. You see, to discover that is only possible through the not grasping for that which is not that. And that which is not that is this stuff. And among the two, this one is more troublesome. Intellectual grasping for an understanding of that which is so beyond our understanding that only intuition can fathom. It is so beyond conceptual understanding that only your heart, your intuition can fathom the reality. One metaphor that I've been using is that, or that of two books. You see, one is a encyclopedia of worldly knowledge. Everything that you can ever know about the world is in that encyclopedia. You see? And the other is the book of your heart. You see? Because now we are used to referring to the book of apparent knowledge or worldly knowledge. You see, it's actually, we are looking for the ultimate truth in that as well. You see? So we're trying to force it into our heads, fit it into our head, and it cannot be fit there. We're trying to make a mental understanding of the ultimate reality.
Yeah, I see this very well. Like, I think that
Yeah.
is what is happening is that mind it's trying to give us a meaning or trying to grasp and is comparing uh, using memory, using 5 minutes ago was like that, and now it's like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
and
Good. Good. So you see this very good. Now, what does it mean?
nothing.
Good. Good. You see, because otherwise, if you go for the meaning of what does that mean if the mind is doing these things to the
No,
same
yeah,
book of knowledge, it will say,
yeah,
"Oh, you are not yet free. You are not finding the truth, or you are unworthy, and you're hopeless," and those kind of things can come. On the other hand, it may come that you're very special, you are completely free.
yeah,
You see, these kind of representations can come. So, if you leave that book of knowledge and remain with the book of the heart, now what does it tell you?
Yeah, there is no grasping
Yeah.
of anything.
Yes. As my attention went to the chat for a moment, I found something that is another one of my favorites about this one, which is, are you not thinking what I'm not thinking?
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Love you, love you. Thank you. Thank you for this good start to the sessions of satsang. Okay, I see Mayu. Mayu can come.
Hi, I just wanted to say how happy I am to see you again, to know that you fully recovered. I missed you. It was long for me, and how blessed we are to for your presence in our life. Thank you for so many satsangs, and God bless you that you never have to recover again. That you get all the strength and all the everything, the love, the health, everything you need. So yes, you never need to recover again.
Oh, thank
Thank you
you.
very much. I love you
Thank you.
so much.
Love you too, my dear. Thank you. Thank you so much. So sweet. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, good. And what else? That's it? Very good. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Nice. What a wonderful beginning it has been. Okay. Next, I see Palala and Warjo and Sida and Lawrence.
Hello, Ananta-ji. Hi.
Hello, my love. Good, good.
Yeah, I just wanted to check in, say hello, say hi, and yeah, I don't know. I felt I have to raise my hand and say something, but I don't really have to say something. So there are no problems, no unresolved things.
Aha, very good.
Everything is just flowing, and
And what are you going to do without problems to solve?
I I always asked the same question myself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. Is there a theme for something that when you raised your hand, was there a theme? Even though the question may not be articulatable, is there a particular topic, or it was just very, very
No,
open?
it's just randomly
Yeah,
the thought came up. Just why not raise your hand today?
yeah.
You never raise your hand. Let's see what's happening, and yeah. So
Very good,
yeah.
very good. This is very good.
And of course, I do really enjoy the Sangha community.
Yeah,
And it's I don't know. It's of course it's something you can somehow feel it, see
yeah,
it,
yeah.
although it's somehow enjoyable, and this, I don't know, it's some urge to yeah to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, it's beautiful.
It's fine. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. No trouble. Very good. Very good. Very good. All my blessings, all my love,
Thank
and
you.
may this openness continue to bless you in this way. Very
Oh,
good.
it will, of course.
Yeah.
There's no maybe.
Very good.
It's always it's just here, as you
Ah,
say. Yeah.
very good. Very nice. Very nice. Very good. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Good. 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 Okay. We can. I don't know the order. I said. Whoever wants to come, you can all unmute your mics. So who comes first? Everybody's being nice now. Ah, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, yes, my dear.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello, Anantaji. Really
Hello.
happy to see you.
Mm.
It's my question is going to regard what was said in the beginning when you talked about acquisition,
Yes.
because it rose something here. You said there is material acquisition, there is mental acquisition. It's so, and the question would be concerning energetic acquisition, and because there's another acquisition, another type of acquisition. Let's try to see how I can put this.
Yeah.
It's been realized lately, as far as emotions are concerned, that there is not anger here and anger here and anger here. There's only this one force, which is going to be called anger. And the way it was seen is that this force will go through whatever the universe is or whatever, and it will catch something in resonance in this one or this one, and so it's really there's only one force, one emotion. As far as, let's say, the question here arises in as much as this body as a healer has got a sensitivity to energy, and it will catch energetic knots in somebody in one-to-one, but of course in amongst other people, let's say. And it's been a question here for a long time. Is there a matter of grasping something? Because of course it can be seen like this body has got the capacity to reharmonize whenever something is like blocked. Okay, but it will come out in a very strong burping and things, really and quite tiring. So it's really, how can I say that? It's more and more clear that it's just like there is this capacity here, so it will go through and it will do this. But is there something I don't see? What could you say about that?
What aspect of it is it causing any trouble in any way or bothers you in some way? Or
it is tiring, physically tiring, exhausting.
Yes.
And yes.
Nice. Okay. So
it can be, can have it.
Let me see if I can repeat your question so that we are talking about the same thing. So what you said is that there is a sort of energetic flow that happens in the waking state that seems to be energetic. You see, and energetic, we can use the term energetic, and in a way we can say that everything that appears and disappears in the manifest is energy. You see, and whether it is material or conceptual, both of it is energetic. You see, so I'm fine with that description.
Oh, but I see something here. When I put energetic in this way, I put that separate as the energy of mental mind, and is that it? There's.
So let's just say, let's simplify and say phenomenal. Can we say phenomenal?
Okay.
The action is possible only in the realm of the phenomenal. Okay. Now that phenomenal definitely includes energetic as well. So you see, so let's not even categorize. No? Let's say that there is this whole soup of phenomena or play of phenomena, and in the phenomenal play, only in the phenomenal play is this concept of acquisition or getting or not getting or giving You see, all of this is relevant only to that. To the unmanifest, to the unphenomenal, to the noumenal, there is no such notion of acquisition or non-acquisition. Yes. Now, within that, you said that as your body-mind expression has the propensity to heal other body minds or other beings in your vicinity, what can happen is that it seems like there is some transference of
Mm,
energy that happens or a movement of energy that happens,
mm,
and that movement can be tiring at times. You
mm,
see, and this is very natural. You see, as the flow happens in this way, you see, energetic, phenomenal things mostly are based on quantitative things. You see, so if there is a reduction there, there can be an increase somewhere else, and mostly it goes in a movement like that. You see, but what happens is that those who are usually blessed with this propensity for healing then have also uh, this divine gift that their bodies also usually are taken care of in one night of sleep, or if it's really really strong, then a few days of rest usually takes care of it.
yes.
So it is very rare that somebody has been given the blessing to heal in this way, but they themselves don't heal fast. You see, because then they would run out very quickly. I mean, the this body mind play would not last long at all if that was the case. You see, so the good news is that we don't have to do anything conceptually about it at all, and we cannot. You see, so so even the healing happens very naturally. Of course, we can create some sort of play around it, like some people, some spiritual sort of movements create a sort of play around it in which a certain set of things can be done or not done. You see, but actually, it is just a much more natural movement than that. Is my feeling. You see, and
Mm,
the healing of the seeming body mind through which this sort of capacity is playing out is also moving very naturally in the movement of consciousness, in the play of consciousness. So, my advice would be the less we think about it, the better it is. You see, because the our conceptual conclusions about how to deal with these kind of situations are really not at the level of where that is actually happening. You see,
exactly.
it is a very again a sketchbook sort of representation of what is going on and how it is moving. Even in fact, my words about it in the last few minutes are sounding like a simple sketch about it. You see, so I'm not so. My advice would not be to rely on them too much because they're much broader forces at play within consciousness, which are doing all of this. And if we oversimplify it, you see, and we make these primitive sort of sketchbook representations, then we feel like those are true, and we try to find resolutions and solutions within those levels. But it's really not like that. It
Yeah.
is we can just trust the heart of being itself to, if it is given a particular expression of consciousness, this kind of let's call it ability, then it is its job itself to take care of that ability as well. And intuitively, you will have the sense of when to rest and when to be full on, and you can trust your intuition about it more than any conceptual representations. So
Yeah.
I'm going to everyone once more and unmute you.
I can't see you. I can't hear you anymore.
Yes, my dear. I just muted everyone again. You'll have to unmute once more. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. There has been this intuition of what you're saying beautifully, and especially because when when I reconnected with this capacity, let's say, there were all these people saying you need to protect yourself, and it doesn't make sense actually
Yes, yes.
anymore.
That's what I meant. Actually, that's what I meant because
Okay.
if we take ourselves to be uh, in an individual owner of some ability or skill, then our solutions and our propositions will be about how that individual can manage this. But actually, no individual is the owner of any of this. It is just how consciousness is choosing to play in all its various aspects of existence. You see, so the notion of individual ownership can lead to a lot of spiritual trouble. You see, when I say spiritual trouble, I'm talking about spiritual pride, spiritual egotism. All of these things can build in,
Yes.
and then what can happen is that a lot of fear can also come, like spiritual fear, that if I'm going to be like this, then can I go into a group of people? Can I hug people? Then what if the energy is transferred to me? And then little old me will have to suffer from the energy of another, and this kind of thing
Exactly.
happens. So
This was playing in this one a couple of years ago. It's gone, this. But what I can see in a very subtle way is that as it takes really, well, this burping, well, it is whatever it is, but suddenly the stomach is going to blow like that, or there will be strong headaches. And of course, there's no total acceptance of that because it's painful in a way and whatever. And it's always catching here with, is it normal? Is there something to be done? Is there...
all the constructs, you see, all the constructs of the mind which set you up. You see, like there's a construct called normal, which sets a lot of us up. No, it is just a setup to suffer. Like, have we ever met anyone who is normal? There is no such thing as normal. You see, consciousness just doesn't play that way. Every everyone, like a snowflake, is unique. You see, so how will we have a category of normal? It is just, these are the constructs which we need to deconstruct because they trip us up. You see, and then the mind will use the construct both ways. You see, if it finds something to poke and says, "Oh, you're not being very normal. This is not normal." You see, and then if you go to the other side, it'll say, "You're being so regular right now. You're being so normal. What's so great about you?" You see, so it uses it both ways. There is no winning in this world of constructs. You see? The minute we fall for a construct and say, "I have to conform to this construct," it is just going to trouble you. You see, it is just going to trouble you either way. So forget about normal and not normal. Forget about any construct. And the main point of satsang is to deconstruct all these constructs.
Yes. And so
I would offer to you, if you're open to take the construct of healing and forget about it.
This is done already. This word, I had to use this to say, but it doesn't mean anything here anymore.
Okay, very good.
If I had to advertise for this activity here, which actually is drawn to nothing, and I think it's because there are all these understandings taking place, but it came out as soul tuner, as healing doesn't mean anything. It's all a matter of reharmonizing to our true nature somehow. So
okay,
so tuning was.
Thank you. But for today, then this construct of harmonizing to our true nature. Forget about that. Is it?
Yes. Yeah, everything, every construct let go of. So
it can feel like we are able to elevate our constructs, no? But actually, every construct is at the same level.
Yes, I can see that. It's very clear. Yes. So I will surrender all this at your feet.
Very good.
And as well, because it's been seen, whenever in meditation, let's say quiet sitting, there's no seeking anymore, but all these energetic movements, they just feel so, sometimes, tamasic energy, and whoosh, it goes, and I can see this one still trying to, well, feeling it's too close. It's like, how can I say? There is still this carrot of total silence and deep silence and deep relaxation. And of course, this body with all these movements felt so. So I dropped that as well.
Very good. So in Indian spirituality, there are three very important concepts, no? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Just forget about them.
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's all very new to me, but at the same time, I can drop this. I don't even have to know this. Right. Yes.
Very, very good.
Thank you, Ananta.
You, my love.
Thank you.
Thank
Such
you.
a blessing.
Thank you.
Be well. May your body be well.
Thank you so much.
Much
Thank
love.
you too. Thank you. Just quickly before we go to the next one, something in the chat is getting my attention. Namaste, Father. Can you talk about how not to take the bundle of perceptions called your body as yourself? Okay, very good. So, can you talk about how not to take the bundle of perceptions called your body as yourself? You see? Now, are you able to come up on the thing? Maybe we can make it an interactive conversation. You just tell me yes or no in the chat. Yes, okay. So if you could raise your hand, then it's easier to spot you. I mean on the tool, yes, yes. There you go. Very good, my dear Jason. Good, good, good. Okay, so let's look at this. This is an enjoyable question. How not to take this body to be myself? You see? Now, why I invited you up is to see if we're on the same page. Now, what I find is that naturally, I'm not taking the body to be myself. I need to do something to take the body to be myself. Can you take a minute and confirm this in your own case?
I always find it's both ways.
Okay.
Because I somehow know I'm consciousness, but then again, I also feel so identified with the body. For example, if it's not well, then I feel
Yes.
still I'm suffering.
Yes. Okay. What about let's leave the past and future aside for a moment. Right now, if would it be work to take the body to be yourself, or would it be work to not take the body to be yourself?
Would it be worth
Work.
work?
WORK. Work. Would you have to work effort to take the body to be yourself, or effort to not take the body to be yourself? This is for all of us.
I can't even say if I take my body as myself now.
Exactly, because another idea that we have is that our natural condition is body conditioning. You see, our natural condition is that we take the body to be ourselves. But in my investigation, I have not found it to be true. You see, especially in spiritual seeking, if you're in satsang, you're not taking the body to be yourself. You see, because in freedom, the body will not get anything. So why do you come to satsang? It's not for the body. You see? And that's speaking conceptually. Now, if you look really just perceptually, just looking at perceptions, can you draw a line between body sensation and other sensation? Is there a natural line which says this behind this boundary is you and outside that boundary is not you? Is there a natural line? I'm going to put everyone on the screen for a moment. How many of you feel that just effortlessly you take yourself to be the body? Just let me see your hands if you feel that way. Effortlessly, you take yourself to be the body. Kind of. Okay. Next page. Can you also, the pages don't move for you when they move here, no? Okay. So just you will have to do it a few times. So how many of you take yourself to be, you feel naturally just take yourself to be the body without effort? Okay, mostly no. Good, good. One I saw, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, good, good. Those who are raising your hands, I'm happy you're being honest and open. It's good, it's fine. Okay. So it's a good experiment for all of us, actually. I saw your hand. Thank you so much. I saw everyone. So it's a good experiment, I feel, for everyone. Could you just forget about the past and future for a moment and tell me whether naturally, because there are some sensations being perceived, you see, which we call the body, does it mean automatically that they create your boundary? The rest of the sensations and perceptions, are they not in the same space where these sensations are? You see, what separates them? See if you find any boundary which is natural to you. Everything that you perceive, whether it is sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, or even that which we call inner perceptions. You can go as far as you like in your imagination. Now, what is it that defines my boundary? And is it natural to me or is it learned knowledge? I remember at least when we were, when our children were smaller, we had to teach them this kind of thing. And it's okay, as parenting, we have to teach them those things so that later they will let go of them. You see? We don't have to try and become new sort of parents or something. So but we would have to teach them. Like my son, I take this example often. He's saying, "Son, where's your head?" He would many times point at my head. You see, he was small, no? And I would say, "No, no, no, that is my head. Why is your head?" You know, then he learned the difference between you and me, and my head and your head. This did not come naturally. So this propensity to take ourselves to be one bundle of sensations and the rest of that which is perceived as outside of me is not something that was natural. You see? It was something that was learned. And when I looked into the eyes of my father, Guruji, then I saw that this boundary was just not there. It was never there. I realized that I'd been relying on this conceptual boundary, but I couldn't find anything with the boundary anymore. It is not something new that happened here. It was just seen clearly, you see, when I sat on the hot seat with him. And that is why I'm inviting all of you to see this clearly now, that you definitely need at least one notion to claim only this bundle of sensations or perceptions to be you. You can look at any perception, you see, any sensation. Don't be scared of it. The perception will never create a boundary. You see, so there's a perception. If you're looking at your screen, you may look at this hand there. That's a perception. There are sensations and perceptions that we call the body. There are sensations and perceptions that we call emotion. There could be other sensations of pain and pleasure, perceptions of memory, imagination, thought, all these perceptions. You see, but what makes a boundary and says these are me and those are not me? You see, and that is in a way the healer's conundrum also. You see, what am I actually healing? You see, it is, if it is all one set of sensations, one set of energy, then it is just a movement of energy. But we need a line that separates and says, I heal another. Is it? That's why important to deconstruct the idea. So did any of you find now in your looking, did you find a natural boundary to your being? And I know it's a tough question, and but if you feel yes truly in your heart, just put your hand up. It's not a spiritual competition. Did you discover a natural boundary to your being, that is whether it's aligned to your body or not? Huh? You kind of did one. I see that kind of did. Okay, we'll go to that one in a moment. Okay. You see? Now, what makes it your boundary? Let me define that further and see if we can go along. I saw a few hands. Thank you, my dear. So are you less on that side of that sensation, and are you more on the other side of that sensation? That would be what a boundary is, no? Like this part of it is my house, so this is, I have a higher belonging. Like I have more rights over this territory in some way. You see, than I have on that side of the boundary. Is that your experience? That you're more on this side of the boundary and less on that side of the boundary? So suppose it is a sensation that we call the body. You see, it's a sensation. Just look at that sensation, just unjudged, and see if you are, if there's something more of you on this side and less of you on the other side of it. They may seem like very simple contemplations, no? They're very, very important sometimes. Say, my dear? Yes, my dear. So suppose you found what you feel like really set some boundary, you see, or has the propensity, or the mind has a habit of taking that sensation to convey that sensation as my boundary. So then really look at it, you see, really look at that sensation and see whether it is true that you are there on every side of that sensation and not more on one side and less on the other side, because that would be what a boundary means. Isn't that sensation, whatever it is, big or small, completely surrounded by your being, by you? You see? And just look gently. I mean, I know that we can have some spiritual peer pressure here and things, but just for yourself, you're looking for yourself. My experience is that whatever the sensation may be, I cannot say I'm more on one side and less on that side. Like, for example, I have these sensations, you see, these perceptions of these blobs of flesh that we call hands. You see, now if you were to ask me, is there more of you contained within this and within that, and less of you contained in the space between them? I would say, no, of course not. You see, what is your experience about this? I see Ananta's picture also there, you see, and I see all of that. So, but I cannot distinguish which one I am in all of that. No, it's in the sense some intelligence can operate here. So I can give credence to the construct that I'm speaking as this one, you see, but it's not true. That much is clear. That I'm not just the one in that frame. That much is apparent. But for communication purposes, of course, I can say I'm this one. How is it for you? Just look. There's a set of perceptions, And if you are also, your body, which you call you, is also there as a set of perceptions, what makes that one more you than the rest? You see? And then, of course, don't restrict it just to bodies. Also include the space, because otherwise you will try to mentally be one with every other body that you see, but that will become too effortful. You see, just naturally, what is the situation? Most naturally is distinct, is to make the distinction between me and other more natural, or that needs work. Does that need thought? Oh, there a lot of chat happened in the meeting. Okay, let's see. Boundaries are concepts, yes. It's like we perceive the image of the body and then make a concept of that as me. Exactly. I would agree with that. I take myself to be the body when looking into a mirror. Yes, but to take, so that is okay, because what you're saying is that you are recognizing the effort it needs. You see, you may see, suppose you're surrounded by a family, by your family, you see, and you're a very close family. So in the mirror, you may see 3 or 4 bodies. You see, you need effort, you see, to determine that that body is you. You see, isn't it? Effortlessly, what is it? So what if this age old, like from the beginning of spirituality, maybe this proposal has been there, that you have to stop taking yourself to be the body. You see, so suppose that this problem was never true anyway, because most naturally I don't take myself to be the body.
Or the word natural,
Yeah.
there seems to be a tendency to tie it to.
Yeah. So can we say effortless? Can we say effortless? Yeah.
So how do you explain if, say, somebody else is crying,
Yeah.
but if she cries, I
Yeah.
feel more.
Yes. Yes.
I feel
So
more affected.
yes. Yes.
But that's very natural.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
That's effortless.
in the realm of notions, like that has become more natural, because then what happens is that not only do we have the power to take a bundle of sensations to be me, we also have a power to take a bundle of sensations to be mine. You see, so what happens is that because like, okay, you see, these which are mine, if something happens, then I'm more affected by that. If they're not mine, you see. So, what is the determination? So, suppose she's crying, you see, wife is crying, and another lady is crying. It is the association with that set of sensations as my wife, no? So, an example of this is that when we first moved into this house many years ago, it was the first time that I had a garden like this. So I started putting some seeds and things like that. No, before that I used to water the garden, enjoy everything. Now, after I put those seeds and they started to sprout, I would rush to that part of the garden first and say, how are those sprouts doing? There were hundreds of trees, no? And these were just tiny, this thing that I had planted, you see? So they became mine, and all the rest then became not mine. You see? But without that, just naturally, without past, without future, what is the meaning of that set of perceptions? You see, you have to rely on past, no? Suppose you had, it will not happen. But suppose you had amnesia right this moment, then would the crying of one versus another make a difference? Though your two kids are there, if my two kids were to come, all four were crying, you would not be specially touched by either. You see? So what has happened? That we have conditioned ourselves to take a set of perceptions to have more meaning as mine, and another set of perceptions to have lesser meaning as not mine. If it was naturally there, then you would not need your memory for it, no? If you had amnesia, then everyone crying here would mean the same. You see? So,
Ananta-ji,
yes.
can I ask?
Yes.
Can I ask then how does it come that we've all experienced the world mainly through this one body, not through another body?
Yes.
So,
And what do you experience the body through?
through consciousness.
Aha. Now, because this particular body seems to be at the center of my visual perspective, you see, because it's like that. It's like one of those video games, no, where the character is there in the center and you're looking at everything from that one's perspective. Does that make you the character? You see, it can seem to provide the ground, the fertile ground for that kind of identification. But suppose you had a dream last night. There was another body over there, in which through which, to use your words, you were looking at the rest of the dream. You see, then what happened to that one now? You see, were you in that body, or was the whole dream in you?
Later.
You see, so in the same way, at least we can say that I cannot say I can completely doubt that I am something which is contained within this body. You see, because what would I be to be contained within an object? Then I would have to be an object myself. You see, an object can only contain objects, no? So what kind of object would I have to be? Some surgeon, some doctor would have found me by now, isn't it? Right now, you can close your eyes and imagine yourself to be in any location and from the central perspective of a completely different body. It can even be a woman's body. You see, you can just move around and you can have that experience. And if you believe enough thoughts about being that woman, you may even start to get identified with that. You see? So the mind's perspective about what this life is and what we are in the middle of this is very different from just even your pure perception about it. Forget about your reality, which is so beyond all this manifest. But even in the manifest world, what we take ourselves to be is much more limiting than what we find ourselves just in perception itself. So the nature of attachment, the nature of identification is this me and mine, no? You see? Without me and mine, can we suffer? The mind may scare you and say, but you will become robotic. All your compassion will also go. But that's not the experience of the sages. When they stop making distinction, it is not that life became all stupid and they could not recognize their own children, this kind of thing. But their view became broader. You see, the perspective became more universal, and the propensity, the ability to share love, to share openly, becomes expanded. You see? Because you're not looking for reciprocal things anymore. You're not looking for, oh, because I give this much, therefore I want this much in return. You see? Because you cannot find that boundary to yourself. You find a bundle of perception swimming in the sea, which is your being. You see, and all of them seem to be moving quite beautifully in the light of consciousness in their own way. You see, the minute we start to say, this is me, you see, and that me never feels big enough, because in our heart we know how big we are. So that little old me never feels big enough. So we say, how can we expand on this me? You see, I want it to become better, bigger. Say, if that one was mine, then I would be better off. What is that? It's just a way to expand conceptually on me. So that one was mine. If this girl was mine, if that car was mine, if that house was mine, you see, then these are the tactics of the me to try and become a bigger me. Because in the heart, it's not liking how tiny it is, and ultimately faced with death, it has to come face to face. You see, so it tries to make kind of thing. Then what happens is you can still see, oh, death is still coming. So what can I do? I can name a statue in my name. I can name a school in my name. You see, I can do all of that, but there's no escaping it. You see, there's no escaping that this me will not last. You see, the only escape is to realize what our reality is. What is that we can find while living that will not die? You see? Then you will see that there is no such boundary, and that which we call me was just a soup of ideas anyway. You see, the me, if the me was just the body, then how could it have trouble in relationships? The body is just fine. If the me was just the body, then how could it have problem at work? You see, which body actually has a bank account? You see, do you open a bank account for a body? Does the body own the money? What can it do with it? You see, so it's all about the one who is the owner of this body, who is the owner of their life, who is the owner of their possessions, who is the owner of their relationships, and now coming into spirituality is the owner of their spiritual progress and freedom. You see, so the spiritual search is also as full of trouble as the worldly search. You see, how much progress am I making? My experiences. I saw blue light. Oh, I saw red light. Like, oh, you only had blue. You see, all these my experiences. Who is it really about? Once we discover that, no? Once we discover that, then you will also find that the self has no trouble playing whatever roles have to be played. You see? It doesn't have to conform to our mind's ideas of how they have to be played, but you will notice that all the intelligence sprouts from that anyway. What makes a bundle of sensations mine? Yeah? It is the thought of mine. No? Anything else? Just by calling it mine, can we ensure that it never goes? The me itself is going to go. Forget mine.
So if I deconstruct it, if
Yeah.
I don't have a thought, even if a thought did arise,
Yeah.
then that thought also must belong to the being. I mean,
Yeah.
with that thoughtless space which has no boundaries.
Yeah.
So even if a thought is to arise, it belongs to not an individual me,
Yeah.
because that is the individualization is that
Yes.
thought belongs to God. I mean, I'm just saying it, to
Yeah.
that limitless
Yes. Yes.
being, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just connecting.
Yes, yes. So what okay. So maybe I'm causing some confusion. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that once you come to the self-discovery, then you will not cry if if something happens to your children or something like that. Even we have stories of the Lord Himself coming down and crying when His wife was taken from Him. These kind of things. So this human conditioning will still play out in tan matra, in the minuscule qualities, and hopefully will never become that robotic that it's, yes, but it will not be oppressive. You see, it will not have the ability to cause suffering, like I must have this, and this should only be mine. This should only play like this. This is the way I want my life to be. All this kind of resistive sort of suffering is wiped clean. Wiped clean.
It was in the context that initially you said that to whoever this thought belongs, either you inquire or you surrender. So when I'm surrendering it,
Yeah.
I'm actually surrendering it to you who I know has no boundary.
Yeah.
So
When you surrender it, where does it go?
to that same silent, expansive beingness where there was no thought. From where just now when he said, I don't have the boundary.
So the representation of what we surrender it to
Yeah,
is completely unimportant,
correct.
isn't it?
Okay.
It's just that what we find in our heart, we feel some devotion towards a particular expression of consciousness. The point is to be rid of it from our mental space, you see, and create more openness. So whatever we find, that if we may feel devoted towards something, just that gives us the ability to let go of false notions, to deconstruct false notions and offer them up, to let go of our ignorance. You see? So we don't need to be actually concerned about where it actually goes.
Because when I looked earlier in that inquiry, I recognized that everything that was perceived or felt was only felt in the same space. It didn't go to some other space to be felt.
Yes.
I don't know how to describe that
Yeah.
that place.
Yeah.
And then
If it was describable, then it would not be so cool.
okay. But the conclusion was it was that which was seen rather than these eyes or these ears or this was a medium, but the seeing or knowing place was the same for everything that could be ever perceived.
It's a nice interim thing.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. So maybe I need to just surrender this,
Yeah,
this
everything.
conclusion as well.
Yeah,
It's very good.
maybe.
Okay,
You can safely surrender all conclusions. Okay, Jason,
You.
clear? Is it? Very good, very good. Okay, lots of hands. Varjo has been there a long time, then Sida. Okay, I can see that the power of this computer is going to die anytime soon. And once we connect, let's see what happens with the...
Every time.
Thank you. Dear, just 1 second, my love. So when we connected the power now, do you hear the beeping has started? The background, like a humming?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes, it has. So can we have the other mic? We have the... Oh, yes. Oh, good. Okay. Okay, the audio may not be as good, but it should be reasonable. How is it now? Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so let's go to Varju.
Father, I I just become silent in your presence the whole time, and I want to say something, and it's just impossible. It's just
That's not bad news, it's good news.
it's very good. Thank you.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May I introduce Mar?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mar is here.
Hello, my dear. Hey, good to see you. All my blessings. Beautiful. Full love, full love.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, very good. We can go to Sida next. Oh, Jada. Oh, Sida, what you... I've been pronouncing it all wrong over the over many,
Whichever
many...
you like, Father.
Jada, Jada, no? Jada.
um, I don't have something to say particularly, but first of all, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Actually, I feel like my whole being, my each and every cell just tingling with gratitude, and I just want to offer this to you. Because I had a chance in one Sangha gathering that how you are doing for us and how you mature us, and it was such a mirror to see myself and all the other Sangha member who are with you also, like Mahesh too. Like we are in a meeting and yeah, like when he speaks, just all there is was just silence, and you are the one actually who makes all this possible. So I truly want to offer all my gratitude, and with gratitude also myself too. Thank you for everything that you have done for us, Father, really.
Thank you. Thank you so much, mother. It's all you. My father sent me the best children. You see? So beautiful. So, thank you. All my love. All my love.
And I want to share something, open up something. Like this body was experiencing so much like kind of spasm and kind of trembling, and it was very rare in the past, but for a very long time I was not experienced so much. And it again comes up yesterday, and I thought to offer this to you. And today also in Satsang it has come, and the guidance you have offered was just so beautiful that immediately it comes, and it's seen that yes, like construction, I think the right word was there, but something relaxed. It was just a feeling.
Yes.
And yes, still.
Just one moment. You want to go? Or you want to stay? Okay. A little child in satsang.
Yeah, because it was just so intense feeling, still some tiredness left from this. And what I feel like I'm so happy also we have a time for me to look at this. It's like the identity itself, Father. Like it comes also as an identity. I know that it's kind of psychological thing, because it comes, especially it was coming especially when we speak with people, which means for me in the past, like being a person and all this psychological stuff, of course. And what I had chance to see that yes, the feeling, and yeah, it was just identity itself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I could relate, yes, it was identity itself, but first time maybe I could relate that also the identity is not real. The person is not real.
Very good. That's a beautiful discovery. Because what happens is that if we keep taking the person to be real and a problem to be solved, then every time we take it to be real, it seems like it becomes more real. Only seems like. You see? Like I was taking an example last time, that if we keep saying, uh, can somebody help me get rid of this heavy brick on my head? Can someone please help me get rid of this heavy brick on my head? Or I have to work hard enough to get rid of this brick. If I repeat it often enough, I will be convinced that there is a brick on my head and I have to be free from it. So every time I say it, I'm actually getting more bound to the idea of there being a brick rather than becoming free of it. You see?
But
So as you're seeing that there is no person there, then what you're seeing is that there is nothing to solve. You see? So, because the minute we come into that problem solving mode, we get back into the intellect and say, how do I solve the problem of Maria? So solve the problem of this person. I'm using the Sound of Music reference, don't worry. So every time you say, okay, there's a person here, how do I get rid of it? Is reinforcing the idea that there is something called a tangible person or an ego, which is here, and I need to be rid of it. And if it was a tangible entity here, then words could not dissolve it. No, it didn't have to be
sorry,
plucked out.
Father, I miss you.
It would have to be plucked out with some implement. If there was an objective entity called a person, you would have to go in there, pluck it out, and throw it away. You see, the words which are telling you that you are the self itself and no person has ever existed could not clear it up if there was an actual embedded entity there. You see, but Jnana Yoga works because we're just reminding you that there is no such problem to be solved in your natural state. When you don't have a moment to think about it, there is no such thing as a problem. There is no such thing as time. There is no such thing as space. You see, you are beyond all of this.
Yet, Father, we call it as discovery, but it's such a just such a clear, and again, like the most natural, like nothing has changed, you know. It just realized, like, I'm again, I don't want to put so much word, but everything just was as it is. Everything is just as it is.
I understand the trouble with words. You see, I understand that trouble with words. Because, if somebody says to me, "What happened when I discovered the self?" You see, at one level I can say nothing happened because I was always that, and at another level I can say that everything changed. You see, but the point is basically that nothing that we can explain to the intellect. You see, that's why words are inadequate.
What did you say, Father, about intellect?
I'm saying that nothing that we can explain to the intellect happened in the discovery of the self. That is why the trouble with the words, no? That is why the trouble with the words where. So, was the discovery new or has it always been there? Both and neither. You see, but can the intellect fathom that? Isn't it? So when we're speaking of the recognition, on one hand, it is completely new and changes your world, and one hand, you see that it's always been there. So how to put that in words? It all sounds like nonsense.
And why to put into words?
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
Like? Why to put it in
Why?
words?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yet, Father, I feel to also offer this to you. Whenever, it's kind of prayer that when identity or something starts to play out, please just don't let me go with it. What I mean is like, yeah, don't let me go. Try to get rid of it, to do something in the world, because it's unnecessary tanglements, you know. It creates unnecessary experiencing with people with this, because I also see in myself that whenever something comes up, like this tendency also to try to solve it outside, I just want to take refuge at your feet on this, like, just remind me again and again, just.
Yeah. Always, my dear, always, always. I'll remind you. It's a promise. No? I even felt sometimes, no. We were sitting with Guruji one day, and he had some grapes with him. He had some grapes, you know, and then he was sweetly giving us, no. So what happened is that there was someone sitting. I don't remember who it was. They said, "Let's play a game, Guruji. I will open my mouth and you have to throw." No, and then Guruji said, "Oh, Guruji is really up for a game." So he said, "He said okay." So then what happened is that my mouth was open. The grape came here, and this one didn't move even this much to catch it. So the Guruji said, "That is how much you need to do. Most of it I'm doing, I'm aiming, it is going, but when it's coming in your direction, just sometimes you feel like that. It can feel like that, that that you see that much. So I'm reminding you, I'm saying, look, but the feeling to just have that intention in your heart to look when the master is saying, look, that much is all I need. You see?
Yes,
The,
Father. And
there's like the feeling in the heart to follow along. If that is there, what we can call openness, you see, if that much openness is there, then I will never tire of pointing you to your reality.
I think there is something in this, Father. Yes, you really remind me, but sometimes I reject it. And I myself go and choose to do something, because I love this sense in a way. And this is because in our last conversation, I opened this up to, just so much repression was in this for this one, and like something has been opened up here, and that's why I love to experience at the same time, like being outspoken. I truly presently I enjoy this, but yeah, but yes, but anyway, I also feel like experience is kind of burden, just so much experiencing. So, and I heard it from Nisargadatta Maharaj, and it just touched my heart so deeply. I don't know exactly the thing, but someone just approaching him, and he was saying that yes, experiencing itself is a burden, like it's a heavy thing. And yeah, this one I want to offer this to you, but let there be no need so much for so much experiencing to learn.
I can clarify a little more on this topic. So, one of the most beautiful words we've all heard from Maharaj, and Guruji repeats this often. He says, "You are not experiencing suffering, but you are suffering you're experiencing." You see? So, in the experience here, I noticed that in pure experiencing, and pure is not a moralistic pure, it is independent of judgment. You see? In pure perception, which is independent of judgment, interpretation, wanting, pushing away, all of those postures, it is completely fine. It never becomes suffering. It doesn't matter whether we are in sleep state or we are in waking state. You see, it is only when we start to interpret, to label, to judge, to make distinction, do we have the suffering of the waking state. You see? So actually, nothing has changed between sleep state and waking state. The whole universe of experiencing can show up, and the whole universe of experiencing may dissolve. But when we build a relationship conceptually with the objects of experience, that is when suffering starts. You see? And this is the way we are suffering or experiencing. We're not really experiencing any suffering. So you can try this. It may seem like a simple exercise, but just look around the room and don't judge anything. Just look around the room. Look around everything around you. Don't label anything. Don't judge anything. Can it become tiring? It may seem initially effortful if our habit is to label. Then the dropping of the label may seem like there is some effort involved in that. But actually, it's worth making that seeming effort to become effortless. Because then you spend most of your life not suffering from anything that you are experiencing. You see? You're just enjoying the colors and the taste and the light and the sound. But the need to grasp or the need to push away, which is the same thing. The need to own or the need to disown. You see, that is what causes all the trouble. Does any experience in itself have suffering inherent in it?
Nothing.
And it is the resistance which tires us. It is the suffering that tires us. So the experiencer mode can tire us. You see? If we take ourselves to be like an individual experiencer of the world, then that can tire us. But without any such mode of operation, just natural, it's all just fine. No difference in sleep and waking. I'm not talking about the body, by the way, because the waking state will tire the body. That is naturally how it is built. I'm talking about the psychological tiredness.
This
Yeah.
is the real tiredness.
Exactly, because physical body being tired is fine. It's not so much of it.
So, Father, then I just want to offer all misconceptions, misunderstanding, all the blind spots which creates this experience there at your feet. The things that I'm aware, the things which I'm not aware, just everything. I just place them at your feet.
Very good. That's a good, very good inner attitude to have. Just openness. Everything is father's problem.
Yes.
Easy. Very good.
I just love you so much and thank you for everything. You just
Thank you. Love you. Thank you.
thank
Okay. I don't know who came when, but I see Georgina, Sarunas, Keisha, and Prahas. Praharsh.
Hello, Father. I can't see you.
Hello, dear. How about now? Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yeah, अच्छा.
Hello. It's good to see you.
Same.
I raised my hand when we were doing the body contemplation.
Oh, that seemed like centuries ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but please share what you have.
Yeah. So you put your hand like this,
Yes.
and or I think you put two hands like this.
Both hands. Yes.
Yeah. And then you said, and then you asked, I can't remember exactly, but it was like, how can I actually say that this is more me than the space between the two hands? I think,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then you said, no, I can't say that. And that created a little confusion here
Yes.
because the contemplation itself, it sort of, it mixes the world of my perception
Yes.
with who I am, and when it comes to myself, I can't say that it has anything to do with the world of perception.
Yes.
So how can I do this contemplation?
Yes. Okay, so let me clarify a bit. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that in this world, if I had to call anything myself, you
Yeah.
see, then what would make me call myself more in these hands than in
Yeah.
the space between them? There's nothing like that. No?
No, no. But
So
I
that's
would
where,
say that if I have to be honest, I would say that
yes,
that's because you taught me to not find myself in what I perceive.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So now, go to that place where you don't find yourself in what you perceive. Go to that intuitive space.
Yeah.
Is it? Now, is there anything left which is inside or outside or manifest or unmanifest? Is there something like perceived and unperceived?
No, I don't even understand that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Is, is, is there something which you can say you are and you are not?
No, that would be like too much of a question. Like, I don't even know how to answer that.
Yes. So all distinctions then dissolve. So,
Okay.
so what I can tell you is that if you go this way,
Mm-hmm.
right, and include everything in manifestation within you see,
Yeah.
because consciousness has the ability to do that and say,
Yeah.
this is me, or this is
Yeah.
also me, and this is also me, and the space is also me, and all of time is also me.
Yeah.
Consciousness has the ability to do that, you see,
Yeah.
and you will see that all the boundary is just where consciousness wants to set it. You see? If it says that this notion is my boundary, so this universe is my boundary, it can set it there conceptually. And if it says nothing.
I think I lost you in the last part.
Yes, so if we say, for example, that
Yeah.
this universe, which is
Mm-hmm.
one linear movement of time and space, that is my
Yeah.
boundary, then
Yeah.
consciousness has the prerogative to do that. But if it
Yes.
says all possibilities that have ever happened in time and space is where my boundaries lie, it can also do that. You see?
Okay.
So what happens is that we can be fully inclusive, and
Mm-hmm.
then when we become fully inclusive, then
Yeah.
don't of course forget to include that which witnesses all of this as well, and say, I am also that. You see? So
Mm-hmm.
now we have included everything in the manifest and every manifest possibility, as well as that which witnesses the every manifest and the manifest possibility into ourselves. And we come to the same point that we come to if you were to negate everything that is manifest and to leave that aside. You see? And this we have in a highlight somewhere. So in the two parts of spirituality, one being fully inclusive, because most people don't like to do neti. You know? Most people don't like to negate and say not this, not this, not this. They would
Yeah.
rather say also this, also this.
Mm-hmm.
And be also this, also this, also this. Include everything. Include every manifest possibility, as well as that which witnesses every manifest possibility, which is beyond the manifest. And you come to the same space in your heart where
But
you would come to if you were to say, I am not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not
but then can I say something?
this.
Then I
Yeah,
would like again. To be honest, I would have to say that in order to include everything as myself, I would have to resort either to trusting your words
yeah,
or a sort of memory which I don't trust of having
yeah,
seen that, but I
yeah.
don't really trust that. But I know that I've seen that. But like right now, I I
Okay.
can't say that I am anything that I can perceive.
Yeah. So I want to say one thing to you, that you don't have to do both, in the sense that in the including, some for some including seems more natural, for some neti feels more natural.
Yeah.
Whatever feels more natural, you stay with that,
Okay.
because it is bringing you to the same point. So
Okay.
but my main message is that do one of these two fully. You see? And it
Yes.
seems like you're doing the neti fully. So you don't now need to become all inclusive and things like that. You stay with that. You're coming to
Okay.
the same discovery of no distinction. You see,
Yeah.
nothing to include or exclude, no manifest, no unmanifest, no nothing about nothing, no nothing also. So,
Okay.
which is the same point you would come to if you were to fully include. So it's not that you have to do both. Based on our temperament and our conditions, we are naturally attracted to one of the two,
Yeah.
you see. But the trouble is we leave it halfway. So, and you're not leaving it halfway, which is good. So, fully in the, if you're fully in the negation, letting go of all perception, all concepts, then you're
Yeah.
coming to the same discovery as if you were to include everything within yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All I'm saying is that there seem to be two apparent paths which we can walk on, but they
Hmm.
both meet the same end point. You see? But we must take a path and walk on it fully.
Beautiful. Perfect. Perfect.
Good.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you for helping me clarify this, because there could be some confusion like this for others as well. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, and I heard Rupert talk about this before, the path of inclusion and exclusion, and it
Okay.
actually was a little confusing when I heard him talk about this, and now you've
I hope so.
clarified it beautifully.
I hope. Yeah. Confusing actually is good news. I don't know. I don't take it so badly.
Yeah,
You end up confused. So
yeah.
what that really means is that you don't have a good answer in your intellect, which is a beautiful open space. Is it?
That's true. Thank you, Father.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Okay, then Sarnas. Are you good, Nadia? All good? Beyond good and not good? Yes.
I'm happy, you know.
Are you happy with the message or are you happy without a message?
Without.
Without. Like Papaji said, no? No, Papaji said to suffer you need a thought or something. To be happy you don't need anything. So whichever way we look at it, whichever master we look at, they're all pointing us to telling us that in our most natural, most original state, it is just so. I don't want to say perfect because you can have an idea of perfect, is it? But it is just so what it is. See?
And I am very grateful, you know. For this opportunity to meet you.
So, so welcome, Mati. Always welcome. Love you, love you.
Something,
Yeah, yeah.
always wanted to hide,
So what can happen sometimes is that no. Firstly, I completely understand the spirit of what you're saying and fully accept it in my heart. But what I want to point to is also that many times we may feel like we can authoritatively say something about how something has always been, but we actually never can. We have some minor fragments of the past. You see? Like we can't remember more than 20 things from yesterday, 10 things from day before yesterday, 5 things from the day before that. So, when we say again, I understand the spirit of what you're saying, but don't be conclusive about that. You see, because when we say something, it's a very broad statement to make to say something always wanted to hide. Like, do we really know that? You see? So when we make that a part of our narrative, it can be a super potent part, you know. And right now, a lot of gratitude may come because of that, because you may say, oh, now there's so much openness compared to that, and there's no fear. But you know, that same narrative, the mind will push at you and try to involve you in its stories again and say, you see, well, go back into hiding because that is where you're comfortable, you see. You always hidden. So don't accept any of these constructs. If you cannot say for sure, and I can tell you that you cannot say for sure about these things, then don't accept that narrative as a prevailing narrative of your life. You are much broader than that. In one day, you are so much broader than a term like always wanting to hide can contain. God is living your life. God is living your life. Mhm. I'm sure that every expression of life, no matter how full of contrast and everything oppressive, still God must have had something beyond just what we can fit in our narrative. And what happens is, I don't mind. Like you can present every aspect of your expression, but if you take the narrative to be true about an expression of consciousness, which is the body mind, you see, then it can seem like consciousness plays in a much more restrictive way. Mhm. So, yeah, sometimes hiding, sometimes showing, it's all okay. Mhm. That's the play of the the trouble is that this kind of pointing is deeply unsatisfying to the mind because it says, so then what has happened to me? You see? And without the backstory, it doesn't know which future frames to try and include in the story. You see? Like everything is it gets momentum because of the backstory. You know? So now if there's no backstory, like we can't really say anything about what has really happened, then which direction should we propel this life in? And that can seem too broad. I can put a happy story, I can put a sad story, I can put a joyful story, I can put a story full of mountains, I can put a story full of skyscrapers. It doesn't matter because nothing, no narrative from the past is propelling this now. Mhm. So then I don't have to fix it. Oh, because I've always wanted to hide, now I always want to be open. You see, then this kind of position we take, and we are empty of all of that. And life is just so fresh and open, every moment. You see? So, what has happened to you? How has it always been? Can we really say? And I'm just using, of course, I'm not ranting at you, Saranas, in any way. I'm just using that phrase as an opportunity to share with all of us that sometimes we can have these very broad, categorical narratives about our life, but they don't have a valid representation. They don't have a true representation. They don't represent you, your experience, even your manifest experience fully, even though it may seem like a dream. You see, even the dream is not represented well in our story about the dream. Because it's not some little old me living this life. No, it is God itself. And God has never been held hostage to any life situation. Even in the seemingly worst of times, some moments of other things have come. They have to come. So always is too big. Always is much too big. Much too big to be able to conclusively say, yeah, I've always been this. I've always been that. It's just, it's just in this case, of course, it's an expression of gratitude, which again I'm saying I fully appreciate and love. But I'm just cautioning everyone against these broad sort of story narratives. Is it? Yeah, broad in the sense just all encompassing. Exactly. Yeah, in the sense that it's too to be okay. Yesterday uh, was quite a was quite a bright day. Yeah? So it's like what is the right way to say it? It's too generic. Maybe we can say generic. It's too no. It's good to clarify because the word I'm using a certain way. You may be hearing a certain way, so it's always helpful to clarify it. You see, what I mean is too generic a representation of a life which is so full of varied colors and shades and sizes and shapes. You see? So, so, and what happens is because it is too much, like we were talking of big numbers the other day, just in the same way, in a much bigger way, the mind cannot deal with one day of your life. So how will it capture 40 years and say, this is what my life has been? You see? And we feel like without that, I'm just completely lost. You see? So we feel like I have to be able to describe it in this way. So we create these generic sort of things. And we say that, oh, this expression of being, I can represent in this generic thing. You see? But what happens is that they may start off as that kind of generic representation, but we start taking it to be true. You see, like a lie repeated often enough starts to seem like it is the truth, and we just feel like that's all my life has been. My whole life has been this. Nobody can say that. Whatever you may put after this. So it just conveys that we are going to a very small instrument to get insight about something which is much larger. Is it? And that instrument is used to these kind of things, and it has these tactics of using generic terminology to be able to define that which is so beyond definition. Is it? So in all of our conclusions about what our past has been like, what our life has been like, it's a measly it's a measly present view. It is not truly true. Is it? So what happens is then we fall into these simplistic sort of position that this is what my problem is. And then we look for simplistic sort of solutions saying, I've always been this way, so I have to now become the opposite of that. Then that becomes a new position, which then becomes simplistic, and then you have to go back to some other fresh position. You see? So we don't actually end up cleaning it up. You see? We don't actually end up cleaning it up. We don't firstly, uh, the mind will not tell you that I'm too small to be able to decipher your life. I'm too small, I can't do it, I cannot decipher your life in a meaningful way. You see? It will not say that I am telling you for the mind. It is just not going to happen. So don't go to this tiny instrument to be able to get some truth about yourself. You see, and I'm not even just saying truth with the capital T. I'm even saying a manifest pattern of appearances. It cannot tell you accurately. So now, if you leave those broad brush strokes or generic typesets, leave those aside. Now we feel too naked. No? We feel too open, too empty, and we feel like we will rather go back to the limiting story, because then at least I have some definition and I can say this is what I really want after this. This is how I want my life to go. Is it too much what I'm saying?
No.
I feel like I'm trying to explain simply, but it can seem a bit abstract at times. You see, but the whole thing is this is how the mind using language has trapped us. No? Like, tell me what your life was yesterday. Since we want to talk about the past, for example, can anyone tell me really, like Dilip may say, this is what happened to my life. Then Atmika will say, "What you forgetting that part?" And then we had that conversation. Kids will say, "Pa, you played with me also." No? So can we really make a valid representation? And what is the need to? We only feel like we need those to be able to define some future for ourselves, no? Or resolve something, or to fix something. No? But it's not true. Firstly, our memory is so tiny. It will show us, oh, some this thing, some that thing. Out of the millions of moments in a day, how much do you actually remember? These tiny, tiny instances. And in that, we feel like it helps us to be able to determine things, but actually what we are doing is we are making references to ourselves which are so tiny compared to the to the immensity of your reality, that it becomes the life of God which is playing out through every expression of God itself. Then seems like um, the measly life of little old me. You see, caught between birth and death, with no real answers to anything at all. Why do we exist? We don't know. What does it mean to know something? We don't know. How to live a good life? We don't know. What is it? It's very that in that limited representation, we are nothing. No? We are really nothing. Okay, I'm going to stop ranting now.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Allah. Thank you. Okay, Kisha and Prahad. First, Kisha.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, my dear, I can hear you.
Okay, because I had some audio problems last time, but that's good. Um, I raised my hand and put it down a few
Ah,
times.
I see. Yeah.
Through, I don't know why. Um,
Was it about the same thing every time, or that you, or like something was there, then it got resolved, then a new thing came and that got resolved? Was it like that? I see.
I think so. I think so, because it's just nothing is really like strong, like
Yeah.
holding on strongly and for too long.
Yeah.
And listening has changed a little bit. Like the listening to satsang is feels like surface scum on a pond. I don't know. That's just the visual I have. Like it's, and it gets cleared away, and it's, there's been an understanding that nothing, no concept will be it.
Yeah. Very good.
Yes, and that mind cannot go there. No, it.
Yeah.
And that there's not even anything to know, even if there's the urge to know it. And that all you've been saying is, you're not saying anything, you're just clearing away the scum.
Yes. Yeah. That's very good. That's very good. Because that revelation that I don't need a constructive exercise to build on to and become myself. All I need is these false narratives, the false labeling, all the limited motion making, all that to be deconstructed, and the ever shining self is just so apparent.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I had originally messaged you after a satsang with Muji because there was the pattern of a lot of burning to happen every time I was with him. And I saw it as regressing. I thought, gosh, I'm not getting it. I'm regressing. I'm going back. And that's not true. It was just burning. It was just hidden residue that was hidden in me that had to burn like that. And I saw it as going backwards, but it wasn't.
Very happy to hear that. Very good.
Thank you.
So good, so good. Hey, good, good. All my love, my dear. Very good, very good. It looks like you feel to say something else, yeah?
I don't know what else to say. Like I just want to not just be innocent in this like a child. And to stay here.
Full blessings for that. Thank you, my love. Okay, we'll go to Praharsh and Javier. Okay, the hand just keep going. Okay, just a few more.
Namaste.
Namaste, my love. I'm getting some background noise. Can everyone else mute, please? If you're unmuted, could you just mute the rest?
Not.
Okay, good. All right.
I don't know what to say. As usual.
That's very good.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's very good.
You don't think so? What are you not thinking?
That's very. I'm pretty sure I'm not thinking what you're not thinking.
I'm pretty sure that's just a thought. We have to be not thinking what the other one is not thinking. It's not possible to be not thinking something else.
I have maybe I framed the question and I lost it, but I'm trying to bring it up somehow. So
Does
there's
it?
a
We
okay.
can.
So
We can. How are you without a question?
it's very difficult. I
Very
mean,
difficult.
usually that's how it's right. I don't usually have a question. Only as you say, it's effort to bring up a question. Now it's like particularly in front of it's very difficult to bring up a question.
Yeah.
And
And
and then
why must we have a question? You were there in the satsang where we were exploring this a bit. We were saying, so what is the question actually?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh. Good. So it's a worthy question. What is the question?
The question seems to be some kind of an effort to expand.
Is it an effort to expand or to define?
Define something. Yeah, probably I am back to my original question maybe. there is there is there is an effort to not go to intellectual representations, and
Yeah.
I'm finding that itself very difficult because natural tendency is to pull up everything as a problem and try to find all sorts of stupid answers.
Well,
And
I
I
won't. It can feel like it has become natural to us out of
yes,
habit. You see? But I wouldn't say that that was the most natural way we were even born, actually.
obviously
Yeah.
that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But
So now
helplessly,
you
that's
find
where
it
I am.
very difficult. So now, can we try together?
Yes.
Just, just be empty of any intellectual representation.
Well,
And
when you say that there's no thoughts, there's nothing. I don't know how to be more empty. Like
say this part again. Say this. It was not so clear.
when you ask like that, there is no representation. I need to make a representation. I
Okay.
kind of
So,
lost at the point. What does it even mean to have one?
yes. So is it effortful? You're saying it's so natural to be empty of representation.
Yeah, but there is a not such a acceptance to that somehow.
What would acceptance mean?
Okay, that is
You
representation.
want mental certificate as acceptance? What is the acceptance? You want
Nowadays,
an intellectual representation of acceptance. I'm just trying to clarify, my dear. I'm not saying you. I'm just asking what would it mean?
that would mean I wanted my words to come from you or something like that. And say,
Words? What's so much fun about words? Just let's leave words aside. Suppose we forgot language for a moment. Then
then there won't be any thoughts, nothing to think about, no worries, no problem. That would be nice.
yeah. And now let's explore whether just the mere appearance of language as the mind causes all these worries and stress and suffering and limitation. Is it in the mere appearance of them?
I feel empty. I mean, like, there's no thoughts
Yeah.
and there is no problem as such to solve. And I'm not particularly bored about it either.
Yes. So, so many times it can feel like there's something unnatural in that. It can just be like, I don't have a problem. You see? And that can seem like my only problem at the moment. Because our habit has been so much, like you said very beautifully actually, that our habit has been so much to pull everything into our intellect and say, okay, now what is the problem here? How do I resolve this? You see, now when we are empty of all of that, then the only intellectual representation can be, but what's my problem now? This is too strange. How can I not have a problem? That's a very good problem to have.
But there is something a little tricky here because first, for example, when you spoke about the body, how do you how do you know this is this is the boundary?
Yes.
It was probably pretty obvious in the first instance when I heard that okay, it makes sense. But then next thought that came up, converting the
Ah,
initial
okay.
as a
Pause. So
um,
pause for a moment. So when you say it was it obvious because it made sense, or was it obvious because you saw it to be so?
it was seen to be
See,
so. But
because
then
if it only makes sense, then something else will make sense tomorrow, and it will not seem as obvious to us. You see? So you're getting the distinction, no? When we say, ah, yes, it makes sense, what we're saying, I understand this rationally or logically. You see? But then another proposition can come to you tomorrow from another mouth, and that may seem logical, make logical sense as well. And then we just keep switching between everything that seems to make sense from moment to moment, but there's no actual discovery. So when you say that it was obvious because it makes sense, what you're saying is that because you saw it to be so, you saw that there is no boundary to your being.
no, no. Maybe what I'm saying is when I heard it first time, it was felt as very appealing, and it's difficult to distinguish is appealing
Yeah,
intellectually
yeah.
or or directly.
That's a good contemplation. That's a good contemplation. Because being spiritual seekers, we may have an attraction toward these spiritual sounding concepts, but that is still uh, trying to create a house of cards of concepts. You see, so when we are talking about contemplation or looking, we're just saying just it's not about saying yes, I have no boundary. That sounds very nice. You see, it's not about that. We it is more to see where is my boundary, where do I start, where do I end.
And there's a lot of effort and energy in the very next instance to actually find things like okay, there is a double feedback even in thoughts. If I'm sad and I'm watching it, there's again a double. I know it's stupid, but I can make things up pretty quickly in that direction, go somewhere. I know it will never end. So whenever I'm in the satsang with you, it's always there was always some block to somehow listen and just don't process it, just pass it on or
I'm
something like
fine
that.
with that. I'm actually fine with that. If you're listening and not storing up and the words are just allowed to go through, I am actually fine with that.
So
In fact, that is better. The other option is what?
just think about it and spend.
See, no, first is fine. If you're going to sit and think about it and create a perspective, and so then that is when I don't want you involved. I don't want you involved. Just that was fine. Let it enter, let it go. It's fine. It's fine. That's what our parents used to get upset about, but I am happy with that. It's fine.
Yeah, in Malayalam, there's like 1 year is for in and one is for out. Okay.
In Hindi also, same. So I'm absolutely fine. You see, because if the words go somewhere, you can't understand them, you don't know what to do with them, and to your mind, it seems like it's one year in, other year out. It's completely fine.
Thanks a lot. And there's one more little spot, probably very small.
It's fine.
Okay. Again, I keep hearing about the in. Well, we cannot describe it, and it's beyond mind and things like that. But there are very attractive ideas like infinity and kind of things, fun, mathematical fun you can have with infinity,
Yeah,
and like things like chaos theory and things like that, which are also in these ways.
yeah.
So is extremely indescribable, infinite, and so even though I keep learning that okay, the truth is beyond all that, but there are other things also beyond all this.
Yes. If your attraction is towards that which your mind cannot fathom, we were just saying that the mind is very tiny. Was it in broadcast or we
Yes.
were saying that if I say, okay, imagine 10 oranges, you see, you can start with 3 oranges, you can imagine 3 oranges. No? Now imagine 10. You're starting to stretch a bit, but you can do it. Now imagine 20. It's starting to become very broadly, no?
Yes.
You see? Now imagine 100. You see? Now you're losing track. You see? Now imagine 10 million.
Mm.
You see? So the mind will still offer you some visuals of oranges all over, like that. You see? But there's no way that you can say, I am accurate about this. So if your attraction now is to ideas which the mind cannot fathom, then my full blessings for that. It's fine. It is going to just expand you beyond your intellect. It's completely fine.
And let me see if I can uh, bring her again. She had her birthday yesterday. 30th was her birthday. Last time I could say hi. So thank you.
All my blessings to the little one, and full love from all of us.
Thanks a lot.
Love you all. Very good. Very good. Yeah. So the mind can use these ideas like because it has a representation of them, like it has a representation of 10 million. You see, it'll tell you, yeah, I know what 10 million is, but it doesn't because it is beyond its capacity. It starts losing capacity at 10, 20, 30, these small quantities. So it's a very tiny instrument. And we try to use it to measure our life, our story. And that is not helping. That is just um, creating such a limited representation of what you are. So if you're studying like things in science and things which are beyond the mind, and my kids would call it mind blowing, then that's not bad actually. It's fine. Okay, Javier can come. Is it Xavier or Javier? How you say?
No, namaste,
Namaste.
namaste. It's Javier.
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 Oh,
Thank you,
that's
Javier.
that's that's the best I can do today, Javier. 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 Yeah. Very
It's
good.
very good. It's very good. Thank you. I think that I raised my hands by mistake.
Acha, yeah. That's good. I'm
Yes.
happy to have met in this way. And all my love, all my blessings to you.
Yes,
Good to see you here.
me too.
Oh, all my
Thank you,
love.
Nan.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Hmm.
Good, very good. Okay, we have Edgard, the last one that this body has the energy to take is Edgard. And I know it's going to be beautiful because this boy is amazing.
Like, I feel like I'm committing a sin by just speaking to you. Like, I know that you're tired right now.
No, no,
You
no.
know,
I'm happy to hear you, my dear. I'm happy to hear you. Don't feel.
um, I was listening to what the other participants before me were saying, and I was kind of having fun. And now I see that I've totally like forgotten my so-called important problem or something like that. It's it's liberating to know that. And you know what happened like just a month ago, like that yesterday I was very intent on the inquiry, and I would say that it had like beautiful results in a short period of time. Like, I am only speaking about what, 1 day or less than that. Like,
Yeah.
so the inquiry has brought a lot of beautiful results, and now I'm uh, very like I would say enthusiastic, but not so much because there is not like tension or passion. Like, it's relaxed.
Yeah.
I feel very good about that. And what I've been like experiencing is that even that state, like a day ago, it's already past. It's not the same feeling. It's not accompanied by the same maybe thoughts. The overall experience has changed, and now like what came to my mind is, if that which was beautiful is also not permanent, then what am I aiming for?
Yeah.
Because previously I had aimed for the peace, the joy, the thoughtless state, but uh, for example, like 1 hour or 2 hours ago, I was not in that state,
Yeah.
but I was initially like troubled by it, by the not having the same state experience. But
Yeah.
then I like turned back and said, well, it's not that bad. Like, it was also meant to pass.
Yeah.
So, and that brought me to peace again. And I raised my hand, then like unraise it, is that's the word, I don't know, and then raise it again. But I'm not sure what is like the burning question or something like that. So just wanted to share it with you. I'm happy.
Very good. Very good. I'm very happy with you. I have to say, very happy.
Thank you.
May Guruji's grace
Thank you. Thank you.
continue to bring this openness, this emptiness, this pure insight, intuitive insight into your life, and may it never be get caught up in spiritual ego or specialness or any of that. May you just be full of grace. All my love, all my love. Very happy.
Me too.
Very good. Love you, love. Okay, last one. Anuj wants to come.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste. Ah, there you are.
Uh, since I came back from Bangalore, आपने जो बोला, just be open and empty, and every problem which ever is there, and you must think that this is Father's problem, Guruji's problem.
Yes.
Father, on 16th of March, there was a big one court case was going on,
Yeah.
and I made a lot of efforts in past few years for to get that stay,
Yeah.
but it could not happen.
Yeah.
But in this particular date, I just said, "This is Father's problem. This is Guruji's problem. This is not my problem. Now he will look after whatever is going to happen. Take care."
Yeah.
So, Father, we got that stay. One duplicator was duplicating our product, and now we got the stay. And thank you so much for giving such grace, blessings, Father. I just want to thank you so much.
Very happy. I'm very happy to hear this, and of course, all my love and blessings always with you. But trust grace, whichever way life plays out. Is it? It's very good. So, uh, the true test is when the same gratitude is there, even when things don't go according to our mind's plan or the outcome that we want. So, that is my tip for you. Is it?
Thank you, Father.
So sometimes it goes according to our wish, and sometimes it doesn't go according to our wish. If we can be thankful to Guruji in either case, and we remember Guru Kripa Kevalam, either way, we cannot suffer. Very-
Ji, Father.
Thank you, thank you. All my love to your mom. Very beautiful meeting her briefly on the Zoom or on the phone that day. Very, very sweet lady, and I want to give her all my love and pranams. Very, very nice.
Thank you, Father, for being there.
Good, good, good. Okay. It's been a nice time, no? Full 3 hours. You want to sing something else or? Right?
That Guru Bhajan is okay. Guru Bhajan is okay. That Guru Bhajan is okay. मुझको जमीन आसमां मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए, मुझको जमीन आसमां मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए, कितना बेरुखा था जीवन, कितनी बेबसी, रूठ ही गई थी मुझसे कब की हर खुशी, कितना बेरुखा था जीवन, कितनी बेबसी, रूठ ही गई थी मुझसे कब की हर खुशी, मेहर हो गया मेहरबान मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए, मुझको जमीन आसमां मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए। हर जन्म में ज्ञान अधूरा छोड़ आए हैं, पन्ने जैसे ज्ञान के हम मोड़ आए हैं। हर जन्म में ज्ञान अधूरा छोड़ आए हैं, पन्ने जैसे ज्ञान के हम मोड़ आए हैं। गुरु में ही गीता कुरान मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए, मुझको जमीन आसमां मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए, गुरु क्या मिले भगवान मिल गए।
Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Guru Kripa Kevalam.